Folks, it is that time of year again. It is time for E3, and we're back covering it in the way we kind of did last year. But this year is different because we have a special guest. We have Video Game Commissioner Evie here to give us their opinions on the conferences. And of course, we have the official Microsoft Leafeon. That's what that is, and totally not a prop that I put in last minute to match up with the scenery. So let's get started and talk about the Xbox press briefing. So, as usual, we're going to be talking about mostly the things that I specifically cared about, things that really caught my attention, and not every single piece of media in the press briefing, because there are other places to give you all that rundown, detail by detail, that can do it just better than I can as one person. So, let's start off with the thing that came out before the press briefing started. It's Microsoft Xbox Game Pass for PC. Just a few hours before the press briefing started, a page on the Microsoft Store for Xbox Game Pass for PC went up at $5. This is different from the Xbox Console Game Pass, which is $10 a month, and gives you access to a separate library of a bunch of PC games, along with the included Xbox first-party games as well. This wasn't the first thing they mentioned at the press briefing. It happened a little bit later on, but when they finally did talk about it, they announced the actual pricing, which is $10. This $5 introductory rate is probably just for the beta, which is launching right now. Still, $10 for a bunch of PC games every month is still a pretty good deal. And if that wasn't enough, there is more. If you have an Xbox One and a PC, you can buy Xbox Game Pass Ultimate, which includes Xbox Game Pass for console, Xbox Game Pass for PC, and Xbox Live Gold, all for $15 a month. That is an incredible deal. This shift that Microsoft has been doing to make Xbox more of a services offering instead of just the console and its games is kind of incredible, especially when you consider where Microsoft was at the beginning of this generation with the launch of the Xbox One. It makes me really excited for the future of these games, but we'll get to that later on in this video because we have some stuff to talk about before that. So next up, let's talk about some games. The first game that they showed off that caught my attention was Outer Worlds. Outer Worlds is the new Obsidian game, not published by Microsoft because this was a deal made with 2K before they got bought out by Microsoft, but it is coming to Xbox Game Pass at launch. And that launch is October 25th, 2019. It's kind of Fallout in space, and they're leaning in heavily into that, which is pretty smart considering the last few Fallout games haven't been very well received by the general public. I'll say up front right here, I haven't played a Fallout game for any extended period of time. Not the first few Fallout games, not the new Bethesda ones. I just never really got into them, but I do want to try this out because this looks like my kind of thing. Fallout RPG in space instead of just this wasteland kind of area. You set something in space and chances are I'm gonna at least give it a shot because I love space. Moving on from that, we have a Minecraft spin-off game, which is something I never thought I would talk about because I kind of got done with Minecraft a couple years ago, but this looks like it might be interesting. Minecraft Dungeons is a dungeon crawling Diablo-like Minecraft game. 4-player co-op, online or local, and is coming to Xbox Game Pass, PC, and of course Xbox the console in spring 2020. That trailer actually looked kind of cool. I would totally group up with my friends and play this 4-player co-op loot game, dungeon crawling, maybe an RPG, I couldn't really tell from the trailer. Whatever this is, I like to play this with my friends, and Minecraft has been on my mind the past, couple weeks, weirdly enough, so this might be a gateway for me to kind of jump back in for a bit. Then after that, they showed off Cyberpunk 2077 with what I might say has been the best thing that has ever happened at E3. That's an exaggeration, probably, but it's up there. It's really great. Keanu Reeves was there. They showed off a new cinematic trailer for Cyberpunk 2077, but the only thing that actually mattered was at the end of that trailer, there is who I assume is an NPC talking to your player character, and then it's revealed to be Keanu Reeves. He then proceeds to walk on stage to just thunderous applause and cheering and screaming. People were losing their goddamn minds. He even looked so excited to be there and just like really genuinely happy that he was on that stage talking about this game and people just cheering him on. And he announced the release date. It's coming April 16th, 2020. Which, hey, cool. I will play that. I have a new graphics card in this PC that will probably play that game really, really well. I'm looking forward to that. And I'm looking forward to seeing Keanu Reeves in a video game. Like, photorealistic Keanu Reeves in a video game. that's gonna be fucking bananas. Moving on after that, we got a little bit more of Microsoft acquiring other studios to add to their Xbox Game Studios banner. Last year they announced a whole bunch, but this year they only announced one, and it was Double Fine. They brought Tim Schafer on stage to talk about Psychonauts 2 and how they're now owned by Microsoft. I definitely didn't expect that coming, but also it seems weirdly fitting. Like, I can't really think of Double Fine being under anyone else besides themselves and now Microsoft. It just kind of fits in my head. I don't know why. It just is. That being said, I'm probably not gonna play Psychonauts 2. It's not really my thing, but that was a big enough piece of news that I thought I should throw it into this video. Alright, now to a game that I probably will play is a game being published by Annapurna called 12 Minutes. This game was showed off a couple years ago, either at a PAX or at another E3, I don't remember exactly where, but essentially you play as this guy who is stuck in a 12-minute time loop where the cops are coming to his house during his dinner with his wife, and there's some weird stuff happening there. It's an interesting trailer. I suggest you just go watch it on its own and not have me talking about it, but essentially the game is you're replaying this 12-minute loop trying to get a different outcome. It's kind of like a Groundhog Day kind of scenario. I kind of forgot that game existed for a while, but I'm glad they got put up on the stage there because it reminded me that I actually did want to play that game when I first saw it all those years ago, so that's gonna be cool. Next up, we're going into Japanese RPG territory with a new Tales game, Tales of Arise. Now this leaked a couple days before the press briefing. There's some screenshots floating around on Twitter that looked really nice, but now we get to see it in motion. Looks like your usual Tales of anime-ass fare, ridiculous outfits, crazy things like pulling a sword out of a lady's chest through fire, and then some evolution of the limb system real-time combat thing that these games do. I haven't played a Tales game in a while. The last one I played was the remake of Tales of Hearts for the Vita, and before that I've only ever played Tales of Abyss, the remake for 3DS in that case. So I want to play this. I want to try a new Tales game. I told myself I was going to play the PS3 Tales games, Xillia and Xillia 2, and I never did. So this is going to be finally my jumping off point to get back into Tales. And finally, we wrap up the conference with these three last pieces that are all kind of related. First up, it's Project xCloud. This is Microsoft's solution to streaming video games over the internet, kind of like Google Stadia. And honestly, I expected a lot more information than we got. Especially with that Google Stadia video coming out a couple days before the press briefings. Phil Spencer came on stage and said that Project xCloud would be launching in beta later in October, and that's kind of it. The only other thing that he said was that the games would obviously run on their servers, but you can also use your Xbox to count as a local in-home server to stream the games out anywhere you are. That sounds a lot like remote play, but instead of it being on a local network, it can be anywhere. But I really expected more details than that, maybe more of the nitty-gritty on how it all works and even a price at the end of it. Folks who are at E3 will be able to test xCloud in person on the show floor, but we're not at E3. I'm one person. I'm not gonna fly to E3 and cover E3 as a one-man show. But whatever, we'll hopefully hear some more coming out from other outlets soon enough. Next up, they did talk about the future of Xbox, and that's Project Scarlet, which we've been hearing about for quite some time now. Like the Scorpio reveal, they mostly just focused on this conceptual video talking about what the goals for Project Scarlet are. Trying to eliminate load times, playing your games anywhere, higher resolutions, higher frame rates, etc. They did say that that box will be coming out in holiday 2020 though, so I expect at next year's E3, if there is one, because E3 is being super weird this year, they'll show the actual physical device. And they capped that discussion off with a trailer for Halo Infinite, which will be coming to the Project Scarlet Xbox next year. This is the first real look we've had at Halo Infinite because the last trailer was kind of just this mood-setting logo trailer. This one kind of sets up the tone of what this game will be. It's still, you know, not gameplay, but it felt more substantive than the last trailer. I don't know much about the Halos. I really have only played Halo 1 and 2 multiplayer, and I've seen people play the story modes of pretty much all the Halo games over the course of a couple years, but none of that sticks in my brain. Luckily, Video Game Commissioner Evie over here has some thoughts about the Halo Infinite trailer.
I cannot stop thinking about Chief being awake for barely 3 minutes and immediately throwing himself back into space.
Okay, yeah, when you put it that way, it is kind of funny. Anyway, that's pretty much all the things that caught my attention at this press briefing, but there were a few things that I thought I should list off real quick at the end of this video. Gears 5 comes out on September 10th, later this year. They didn't really have a big story trailer. They had this multiplayer trailer and also some Terminator DLC. That's a thing, I guess. There was also, of course, the ID at Xbox showreel. Way too many games in there to list one by one, but there were some things in there that looked pretty neat. They showed a new trailer for Borderlands 3, which I definitely want to still play, even though Randy Pitchford is a garbage person, probably. Fuck that dude and his Twitter rants. And finally, they showed off Elden Ring, which is the new From Software game, which has some sort of collaboration with George R.R. Martin. This was also leaked ahead of time, but, you know, seeing the trailer, it looks like a From game. Maybe I'll play this one, maybe I won't. I don't know, there was no gameplay there, but mood-wise, it looks like a From game. Anyway, folks, that's what I thought of the Xbox briefing. Commissioner Evie, any thoughts from you?
They made a moody version of an already moody Billie Eilish song. So I got what I wanted.
Fair enough. So folks, keep your eyes peeled right here on squeakywhale.com or youtube.com/squeakywhalevids, which is our horrible URL on YouTube, because we'll be covering E3 all week. All the major press briefings, and of course, some odds and ends at the end of the week. I love E3, I love video games, and I can't wait to hear some more about them.